So Mr. Ramaphosa, in one of his election speeches, decided to declare war on foreigners, saying that the South African government is going to clamp down on immigration and that things were about to become tougher. It is understandable that South Africa cannot give jobs to everyone. That's an unsustainable situation. However, let's take a look at the Zimbabwe situation and how Mr. Ramaphosa himself is part of the problem. The ZANU-PF government has been in power for almost 40 years. And they have not won elections for a long time, since perhaps the 2000s. And each time they rig an election, they kill people. And what happens? The international community wants to come in to intervene. But it is always the ANC that stops that from happening. 2008, they sent Mbeki when Mugabe clearly lost. And Mbeki came and said, no, Mugabe is staying, which resulted in a unity government, which meant that ZANU-PF continued to lead, having lost. We're not saying that Ramaphosa and ANC are responsible for what the government in Zimbabwe are doing. What I'm saying is they are responsible for propping up this government, for protecting it against intervention. The intervention that we, the people of Zimbabwe, need in order to stay in our country. South Africans need to understand that Zimbabweans don't want to leave their country. But what are we supposed to do when our government opens fire on us on the street when we demonstrate against them? And ANC and Ramaphosa protects them, covers them. We can't protect ourselves against that. This is the same government that sanctions the soldiers to go and rape our daughters, sodomize our sons. And Ramaphosa and ANC, all they're interested in doing is protecting this brotherhood of repression. Be very careful, because they are using the same tactics on you as ZANU-PF uses on us. Divide and rule. So that while you're busy fighting amongst each other, they continue with their corruption, looting the country and destroying your economy. Be careful, South Africa. One day you will end up like us. So, Mr. Ramaphosa, I'm sorry to say that, you're acting like a victim, and yet you are part of the problem. You need to stop protecting this ZANU-PF government, which brutalizes its citizens. And we as Zimbabweans, as long as we are under this situation, and as long as ANC and Ramaphosa continue to protect and cover ZANU-PF, I'm afraid, South Africans, that you'll have to understand that you will need to continue to accommodate your brothers and sisters from Zimbabwe, because South Africa is the nearest place where they can find shelter and where they can find employment. So no, we're not saying Ramaphosa is responsible for what the ZANU-PF Zimbabwe government does, but they are certainly responsible for propping them up. These are fake liberation leaders. They're not interested in people. How can they be interested in protecting black people when they're okay with their neighbors being violated? Be careful, South Africa. You may end up just like Zimbabwe. And as long as Mr. Ramaphosa and ANC continue to protect and to prop up the ZANU-PF government, I'm afraid our situation in Zimbabwe is very unlikely to change.